The double life Claire Bennett had mastered the art of being forgettable. In the sprawling glass tower of Sterling Media Group, she was just another face behind a computer screen. Another name on the IT department roster. Her ash blonde hair stayed in a simple ponytail. Her wardrobe consisted entirely of black pants and neutral blouses, and she preferred the hum of servers to the chatter of the break room. For 4 years, she had maintained the same routine. Arrive at 7:30, before most of the executive floor stirred to life. Fix the inevitable tech disasters. Avoid eye contact in the elevator. Leave at 5:30, disappearing into the Seattle rain like a ghost. But Claire had a secret. Every evening, when she returned to her modest apartment overlooking Pike Place Market, she became someone else entirely. She would brew chamomile tea, curl up on her worn velvet couch, and open her laptop to a world where she wielded absolute power. Not as Claire Bennett, invisible IT specialist, but as Scarlett Hayes, best-selling author of contemporary romance novels that made readers' hearts race and their cheeks flush. Her latest series, The Executive Suite Chronicles, had gained a devoted following of over 200,000 readers. They devoured every word she published, leaving comments that ranged from heartfelt praise to desperate pleas for the next installment. What her readers didn't know, what nobody could ever know, was that her protagonist, the magnetic CEO Maxwell Stone, was based entirely on a real person, Marcus Sterling. Claire had never intended it to happen. When she first started writing 3 years ago, she needed a compelling male lead, someone powerful, complex, devastatingly attractive. Her mind had conjured Marcus without permission. The way he moved through the office with quiet authority, never raising his voice yet commanding instant respect. His dark auburn hair that occasionally fell across his forehead during long meetings. The precise way he rolled up his shirt sleeves when concentrating, revealing forearms that had no business being that distracting. She had studied him carefully, perhaps too carefully. From her position in IT, she had legitimate reasons to visit the executive floor. She installed software updates, fixed printer jams, troubleshot email issues. Each visit gave her new details to catalog. The small scar through his left eyebrow from a childhood accident he'd once mentioned in passing. His habit of drinking black coffee from the same navy mug every morning. The way his stormy blue eyes could shift from ice cold during negotiations to unexpectedly warm when he thanked someone for their work. Claire told herself it was harmless. Marcus Sterling would never read romance novels. Even if he did, he would never connect the fictional Maxwell Stone to himself. The names were different. The company in her books was in New York, not Seattle. She changed enough details to maintain plausible deniability, except she hadn't changed the details that mattered. Maxwell Stone had the same commanding presence, the same unexpected vulnerability hidden beneath layers of professional armor. He worked obsessively, pushed himself relentlessly, and rarely let anyone see beyond his carefully constructed facade. Just like Marcus. Tonight, Claire was working on Chapter 18 of Boardroom Confessions, the 3rd book in her series. In this scene, Maxwell finally admitted his feelings to his brilliant marketing director, Vivian, during a late-night strategy session. Claire's fingers flew across the keyboard, lost in the fictional world where people actually said what they felt. "You think I haven't noticed?" Maxwell's voice was barely above a whisper as he crossed the office. "You think I haven't watched you command every room you enter? Haven't memorized the way you tap your pen when you're solving a problem?" Vivian's breath caught. "Marcus, Maxwell, we can't." He stopped inches away, close enough that she could see the flecks of silver in his blue eyes. "Or won't. There's a difference." Claire leaned back, reading the passage with critical eyes. Too much, not enough. She glanced at the clock, already past midnight. Tomorrow was Friday, and she had a full schedule of system maintenance on the executive floor, which meant another day of seeing Marcus Sterling and pretending her heart didn't stutter every time he walked past her workstation. She saved the document and shut her laptop. The boundary between her two lives needed to remain absolute. Claire Bennett, the invisible IT specialist, would never cross that line. But Scarlett Hayes had already crossed it 1,000 times. The discovery Marcus Sterling prided himself on maintaining boundaries. As CEO of Sterling Media Group, he understood the importance of professional distance. Yet tonight at nearly 11 p.m., he found himself alone on the executive floor, searching for the IT specialist who'd promised to fix his corrupted presentation files. Claire's workstation was empty, but her laptop sat open, screen glowing in the dim office. Marcus approached, intending to leave a note. Then he saw the document title, Boardroom Confessions, Chapter 18. He shouldn't have looked. He knew that. But his eyes caught a phrase that made him freeze. The small scar through his left eyebrow from a childhood accident. Marcus touched his own eyebrow unconsciously. Coincidence? He scrolled up, reading the character description. Maxwell Stone, auburn hair, blue eyes, navy coffee mug. The CEO of a media company who worked obsessive hours and kept everyone at arm's length. His pulse quickened as he opened the browser history. A website appeared. Scarlett Hayes, author. He clicked through to the previous books. Executive Temptation. Corner Office Secrets, each featuring Maxwell Stone. Marcus sat down, completely absorbed. The writing was exceptional, sharp, emotionally intelligent, and intensely intimate. His fictional counterpart was him in every meaningful way, down to the way he rolled his shirt sleeves during late meetings. But it was the scenes between Maxwell and Vivian that truly captivated him. The stolen glances, the charged silence, the moment Maxwell finally broke, admitting feelings he'd buried for years. This wasn't just good writing. This was someone who had watched him closely enough to see past his carefully maintained facade. Claire Bennett. Quiet, efficient Claire who fixed his computer issues and barely made eye contact. She had been imagining all of this? He was reading chapter 15 when he heard footsteps. Claire appeared in the doorway holding a flash drive, and their eyes met. He watched the blood drain from her face as she realized what he'd found. Mr. Sterling, Her voice cracked. Marcus closed the laptop slowly, his mind racing. He should be angry. This was inappropriate, possibly harassment. But instead he felt something unexpected, fascination. For 3 years he'd noticed Claire in ways he shouldn't have. The intelligence in her eyes when she solved problems. The rare smile that transformed her entire face. The proposal Claire followed Marcus on trembling legs, certain this was the end of her career. When his office door clicked shut, she felt trapped. Marcus walked to the floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Seattle's glittering skyline. How long? He asked. 3 years, Claire whispered. I'm sorry. It was wrong. I'll delete everything, resign immediately. That's not what I asked. He turned to face her. How long have you been writing about me? Since the beginning. There was no point lying now. You were supposed to be fictional. I changed details, but Maxwell Stone is me. Marcus pulled out his phone, showing her website. I've spent the last hour reading your work, Claire. All 3 books. You're talented. More than talented. Claire blinked back tears. Please just fire me. Don't make this worse. Fire you? Something flickered in his eyes. Amusement? I'm not firing you. I have a different proposition. He moved closer and Claire's breath caught. She'd written this scene a dozen times, but reality felt entirely different. You've spent 3 years imagining scenarios between us. Marcus continued. Detailed, intimate scenarios. Your readers love them, so here's my offer. Keep writing. Keep publishing. But before each chapter goes live, I want to read it first. Why would you? Because after I read what you've written, I want the chance to make it real. His voice dropped lower. Every scene, every moment. If you're brave enough to write it, I want to experience it with you. Claire's world tilted. You can't be serious. I'm completely serious. Think about it, Claire. You've been watching me for 3 years. I've been watching you too. I notice when you bite your lip while concentrating. The way you tuck your hair behind your ear when you're nervous. The brilliant solutions you never take credit for. This is insane, she breathed. Probably, Marcus agreed. But I read your writing. You understand me better than people I've known for decades. You see past the CEO facade to the person underneath. Why shouldn't we explore what that means? Because you're my boss. Because it's complicated. Because you're afraid it might actually work? He held her gaze. Take the weekend. Think about it. But Claire, keep writing. Don't stop on my account. Blurred lines. Claire spent the weekend in turmoil. But by Monday, curiosity won. She sent Marcus a new chapter. A scene where Maxwell and Vivienne shared their first kiss after a charity gala. His response came within an hour. There's a fundraiser Wednesday night. Be my +1. Wear something blue. The gala was surreal. Marcus played his part perfectly, staying professionally distant until they stepped onto the balcony for air. Then he recreated her scene exactly. The hesitant approach, the careful question, the kiss that started gentle and became something more. "How did I do?" He murmured against her lips. "Better than I wrote it," Claire admitted. The arrangement continued. Claire would write. Marcus would read. They would bring the fiction to life. A late-night office encounter. A weekend at his cabin. Each experience fed her writing, which became richer, more authentic. But something unexpected happened. The scripted moments began bleeding into reality. Marcus started texting her random thoughts throughout the day. Claire found herself in his office discussing strategy, not just IT issues. He brought her the specific tea she liked. She learned he played piano when stressed. "This wasn't supposed to happen," Claire said one evening as they worked late together. "No scene to recreate, just comfortable companionship." Marcus looked up from his laptop. What wasn't? This us actually connecting. He was quiet for a moment. "You wrote in Chapter 9 that Maxwell was terrified of letting anyone see his real self." "You were right. I am terrified. But Claire, I'm tired of hiding." "So am I," she whispered. They were no longer acting out fiction. They were writing their own story. The truth unveiled. 2 months later, Claire's publisher called with incredible news. They wanted to reveal Scarlett Hayes' identity for a major book launch. It would mean publicity, interviews, book tours, and the end of her anonymity. "It's your dream," Marcus said when she told him. They were in his apartment now, boundaries long dissolved. "You should do it, but people will figure it out. They'll know Maxwell is you. You're bored, your competitors, let them." He pulled her close. "I'm tired of pretending. At work we maintain professionalism, fine, but I don't want to hide what we have. You could lose respect, face scrutiny." "Claire," he tilted her chin up, "you wrote that Maxwell's greatest fear was being known. You were right, but you also wrote that the right person makes that fear irrelevant. You were right about that too." The book launch was spectacular. When Claire revealed she was Scarlett Hayes, the literary world erupted with interest. Some readers guessed the truth about Maxwell Stone's inspiration. A few business magazines ran speculative pieces. Marcus handled it with the same confidence he brought to everything else. When a journalist asked directly if he was the model for Maxwell Stone, he smiled and said, "I'm lucky enough to inspire someone as talented as Claire Bennett." "That's all the confirmation you need." The Sterling Media Group board raised eyebrows but said nothing. Marcus's results spoke for themselves, and Claire had officially transferred to the communications department anyway, eliminating conflict of interest concerns. 6 months later, Claire stood in Marcus's office, now their shared space during late nights working on her 4th book. But this time Maxwell Stone wasn't the protagonist. "Writing something different?" Marcus asked, reading over her shoulder. "A CEO and an IT specialist who stop hiding and build something real," Claire said. "I thought it was time for an honest story." Marcus kissed her temple. "Think it'll sell?" "I don't care if it sells. Some stories aren't for everyone. Some are just for us." He turned her chair around, his blue eyes bright with emotion. "Then write it exactly as it happened. The fear, the risk, the moment we stopped pretending. Write about 2 people who were invisible until they saw each other.